Hey, folks, it's Dave back here in Studio B, trying to get my camera all squared away over here. I had a semi computer emergency the other day. Holy cow! So I get home from work. When am I not going home from work, right? And I turn on the computer, and it was nothing on the monitor. This is my work computer. Nothing. Like, what's going on? So I shut it off, turn it on again, right? And I'm unplugging, unplugging. I couldn't get it. So I'm like, well, maybe the computer's not booting up. Maybe it's dead, right? So I dragged this monitor that I have here and I dragged it over the edge and I plugged that in and it works. I'm okay, good. The computer's work. Maybe the monitor's busted. So I unplugged this monitor, plugged in the monitor that was connected to the computer, and it's working again. I had unplugged it a couple of times and it wouldn't get going. But once I put it in here and got it to work, then it worked at the other one. I don't know. Computers are weird. So this monitor is all over the place. I had it like upside down. I was trying to get the plug in because it's the wire is only so long over there, or the cord. Fun times, but everything's working again. I actually played hockey tonight. I did. I only had to work 2 or 3 hours this morning. Still not a day off, but technically 2 hours is a day off for me. And I'm exhausted. I was gonna play some Appa hockey tonight when I come home. I told Chuck, I said I'm gonna play some hockey and then come home and play Appa hockey. No, that ain't gonna happen. I haven't played in 6 weeks. I've just been so busy. Again, having a day off since February 4th was the last day off. And I played tonight and I'm junk. I'm junk. But I did want to come on tonight and talk about a couple things. So first off, one of the teams has been eliminated in the playoffs. So my work schedule's cut back. They played the seventh seed. They were the second seed. They played the seventh seed, and they played a goalie who was 6'8". He was Andre the Giant, and they put 105 or 110 shots on him in 2 games, and could only get 2 goals. And they lost the series. They lost 4-1 and then 2-1 in double overtime. You put 110 shots on a goalie in 2 days, and all you can get is 2 goals. I think you've done your job. It's just you weren't meant to win. The other team won, and now they're going to nationals. So neither one of those levels I'm doing, unless I get called to go to New York for the nationals. The top level team is fighting for a playoff spot. They only got one more home game that I'm on the schedule for. That's next Sunday, and depending on what happens, they may not have any more games at home. Depending on what happens, if they don't make the playoffs, obviously they don't. If they do make the playoffs, they may have a home game. I'm not sure. So I'm pretty much done with that, unless they ask me to go to Utica. Saturday though, I am doing. I'll see if I can put the link up. I am doing roller hockey from Colorado, but I'm going to be here. The power of StreamYard will allow us to do a hockey game with me here and the game going on in Colorado. So that should be fun. We practiced that last year and it worked pretty well. So we're going to do it again Saturday, late Saturday afternoon. So that's kind of what's going on. My work schedule settled down. I still didn't get to play today. I said, I'm going to play something, but I didn't get to play anything today. But I have been working on some things. First off, the Appa hockey supplement that I'm working on. I'm on version 4 right now, if you can believe it. So I clarified a few things today. I just uploaded version 4 to Facebook, to the Facebook group, our group, and then the Appa Hockey group. If you're interested in that supplement and you want to take a look at it and see what you think, it's still in beta. And you don't have Facebook, just email me digitaltodice@yahoo.com and I can zip it off to you. It's a PDF file. It's about 8 pages, and it's just I just wanted to make Appa Hockey easier for people to understand. So I kind of rewrote how they explain some things. Excuse me, and then I applied some or offered some homebrew rules uh, for the game as well, because it just doesn't do a great job of explaining. I think I got confused. People got confused. They think it's too hard. So what I did is, okay, I'm going to rewrite it Dave's way and try to help people realize that it's really not that difficult of a game. It's just worded weird. So, and then there's things in there like penalty shots and a few other things were kind of woven into the rules, and they need their own section. A penalty shot needs its own section. It can't be in with the goalie saves. It's got to have its own section. It really does. Um, So anyway, oh, what did Ray send me? My buddy Ray sent me a picture. Hope it's nothing bad. Hope it's nothing bad. No, it's nothing bad. Okay. Sometimes people tell me if the stream doesn't look good or something. Um, so I'm working on that. So I come home tonight. I spent about almost about an hour on that tonight on version 4 and working it around. And I clarified the ODAI. That was one update. And then Ron and I actually sat down today for a little while, and we were coming up with a penalty shot, shootout, and breakaway procedure. And we kind of figured out what might work what what might not what will and might won't work. So again, it's still in beta, so we have the alternate procedure. I didn't like the procedure that they used, and I'm not trying to second guess anybody, but I guess I am second guessing if I'm going to change it. I just thought that there's other ways that we could handle that. Ron thought that penalty shots were so rare that you should probably get more goals on it compared to the shootout, which you don't score much on, and then breakaways where you're being chased. So I want to definitely add some more breakaways into Appa hockey, and that's the beauty about Appa hockey compared to like a Hockey Bones, which Hockey Bones is kind of done. You're going to do anything to it. But like somebody brought up, there's only so many things that can happen. Whereas an Appa, once you factor in the rare plays and, then I factor in Dave's 66 roll, you get more things happening, in the game. And I think it just gets more variety, more spice, more fun, more hockey is what it is. So I just uploaded version 4. If you want it, digitaltodice@yahoo.com, and I'll email it to you. Take a look. I'm asking people to go over it, see what they think. Do I need to change anything? Are things explained good enough? Do I need to change how I explained it? Do you like the alternative rules for ODAI and penalty shots? Things like that. And I'm also working on the rare play chart. I reached out to you guys. You guys gave me suggestions for rare plays. On here on Facebook, emails, the whole bit. I took some from the Appa book. Actually, oh man, I'm so sore from playing hockey tonight. So the Appa book here, I actually went through the rare plays again, and honestly, after looking at it freshly with a fresh set of eyes, it's not bad. It's way too big, and it's kind of repetitive. So I'm kind of reworking the rare play chart. So I'm using some of my own ideas and some of the Appas and some of your ideas, as well as some rare plays that are in some other hockey games. There's not many hockey games that have rare plays, but some do. And so I kind of looked at them and putting them together. And then Ron had a good idea actually, as far as the rare play checks. I told him, I says, when I'm making the rare plays here in Appa Hockey, I want 2 tiers of rare plays. I want some things that are more common that are just not in Appa Hockey, okay? But I want to put some things in there that would spice it up and have some fun with it that are, you might see every few games, or maybe every game to be something in there that you could see. And then I want the secondary part of the rare playbook to be the really rare things, the really, whatever they are, something that you might see once or twice a season, So what we decided on is that we're going to have, when you get a rare play opportunity in Appa, okay, when you roll and it's like, yep, there's a rare play, you're going to go to the first chart, and that's going to be more of the common things, so you'll see some things in there that'll happen that, it'll be like an instant shot or a penalty or some kind of things like so. Something will happen in that thing that's fairly common. But if you roll, when we haven't figured out how many yet or what roll is going to be, but if you roll, say, a 66 or whatever it is, or 100 or doubles, whatever, then that takes you to the super rare chart with things that might happen once a season or something like that. So we're going to do a 2-tiered rare play chart, and I think it was Al Wilson that did that in his football game, didn't he? Where he has like the chart, and then if you roll a 6 or whatever it is, you go to the next chart, and that's the real deep rare play stuff. So it takes an extra step to get there, but if you do, then you can have something really cool happen. But you don't want the really, really cool stuff happening all the time. So I think the 2-tier system would be kind of nice. And depending on how it goes, we might even do a 3-tier system. But I want to see how it goes. But again, version 4 supplement is up on Facebook if you guys want to check it out for Appa Hockey. It's just kind of me rewriting the rule book a little bit, adding in some homebrew stuff and trying to make things a little bit easier. digitaltodice@yahoo.com if you want a PDF copy of that if you're not on Facebook. And the rare play chart is coming along. I think it's pretty cool. There's some things in there that I'm really looking forward to a point where I'm kind of hoping I get a couple of rare plays every game, just because again, the common stuff is stuff that you see in games. I'm going to add a lot of breakaways. There's not enough breakaways in Appa, so there'll be some breakaways. In the rare play chart, we'll have the goalie goals and things like that. And someone suggested, fog on the ice. That's going to be one of the rare plays. And so some of the rare plays are going to be instant whistles, and then something happens right then and there. And then there's also going to be some rare plays that are going to happen down the line. Okay, like one of the rare plays is going to be the next goal is waved off. Okay, so you roll, you get a rare play, the next goal is waved off. So the next team, and you don't know what team it is, because that's the one thing Ron brought up too. He says, don't make rare plays a bonus. You got to balance the bonus and then like the penalty part of it. Not a penalty. You know what I mean? That it can't always be good. You got to balance the good and the bad. So there's a couple things like that the next thing that happens, next goal to score, it's waved off. You don't know who's going to get it. And there's a few things in there like that I think are going to be really kind of cool, to really add some flavor to the game. So you got this tie game and you're in the third period, you get that rare play and it says the next goal's waved off, and then you score that goal. It's like they score. No, it's waved off. I think that creates a little bit of fun and drama, and again, but we'll find out once I get the rare play done and it's out there in beta and you guys are testing it. You can let me know what you think. It might be too much of something, it might be not enough of something, I don't know, but I thought it'd be fun to add some real things that happen in hockey, because I've seen enough games, between the junior leagues that I've been doing for the last 7 or 8 years and watching hockey as a kid. And I'm trying to find the balance between, the 70s and 80s that I play in the modern season, because they're two different games and there's different things that happen. One of the suggestions was, player fires the puck over the glass in their own zone, it should be a penalty. Oh, back in the day, it wasn't. So how are we going to work that out? So I got to find a way of making that a penalty for everything, even though back in the day it wasn't. And so, there's things like that are happening. So once I get that done, and I'm still organizing like which table, is this a common play? Or is this a super rare play? Is this going to be, an immediate whistle and something happens, like somebody's hurt or whatever? Or is this going to be, a hot goalie or a cold goalie, fog on the ice, that's going to be probably a rare play, but that's going to be one of these things where, it's going to affect shooting ranges because the goalies won't be able to see the puck. Somebody brought that up, and I said, I think that'd be really fun to do that and add that. Is to have some kind of thing, rare play that's going to happen in the either from now for the next 20 minutes in the game or down the line. So I think that's I think that might be kind of fun. Why next goal waved off? Isn't it a big surprise the goal is waved off as it happens my work? Next goal gets checked for being waved. I could do that too, but the idea being that you don't know who's going to score that goal. You don't know who's going to score the goal, but then the next goal, it's a rare play. So you have a rare play that's coming up. That next goal is not going to count. Okay. And again, if people might test this out and find out that stinks, that we want to roll to see, if it counts or not. So we could put, I'm trying to eliminate as many secondary roles as possible. I kind of want to put the rare play in and have it done rather than say, okay, here's the rare play. Now roll for this to see if it's going to be A or B. I'm going to have to with some of them. But yeah. And ID says, if I do the rare play or whatever, you should make it that's the roll 11-33. And then so it's 50-50. Yeah. So you don't know if the goal will count. Okay. Well, again, that's one of the things. That's why when I put this thing out, it's going to be in beta and I'm going to look for feedback on that, And so the idea that the goal might be waved off. Okay. That leads some surprise in there as well, again, but that's why we're putting this stuff out there to see, what these plays do to the game. Does it help the game or not? Does it wreck the game? Knowing that the next goal is waved off is, I just thought that might be easier than always a second roll. But whatever, we can do that. So let's see. Steeler fan is here. Ray stopped by as well. Mike's here, and Fenner stops by. Brian, things are coming by. Hey, Frank is here. How am I doing today? I'm sore, Frank. I played hockey tonight, and I haven't played hockey in 6 weeks because of my work schedule. I've been at a hockey. I just looked. So I was at a rink again today, February 4th. So almost a month ago today is the last time I was not in a hockey rink. So I was in a rink today. Now, granted, I played, so I can't really count that as a work thing, but I'm right back into the rink, Monday and Tuesday night. So, but I'm a little tired from playing today. But it felt good to play. It felt good to go and skate instead of just sitting there watching and broadcasting the games. Steeler fan, Glory Days boxing event chat works like that. A 9 in a row takes you the rare things in the second chat. Yeah, I think that would be good to kind of really get in some craziness there. Hello there, Doug. Fenn has been playing some Stone Cold, and he's going to switch up and play Shootout today. Oh, wow. That's one of the things here on the table. Look at that. Look at that. 1990-91 is printed. And I got my fist cards here. I was going to cut it up here. I even got the overhead camera. You can watch me cut these cards out if you want. Actually, I might be too tired to cut them out. I don't want to screw them up. I think I might wait on that. I got the camera. You see, I got the camera all set up so you can watch me cut, but I think I'm too tired tonight. I just don't want to mess anything up, especially with my shootout cards that I really like shootout. But yeah, so 1990, 91 is here. I suppose I could add that back and just show you these again. And so yeah, so we got Minnesota. I think they went to the finals that year actually. And Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. And they're all here. All the teams are here that I'm going to go cut out. Well, Dynasty Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's the team that won it, right? So yeah. So here's Hartford, Quebec, and Pittsburgh. They're all together here. Oh, Pittsburgh's only a B at home, huh? Interesting. Barasso's in the net. He's wow, Barasso's an E defense. That's unbelievable. Huh. So I thought they dominated, but it's going to be interesting to see how they actually do. So, yeah, 90-91 is out for shootout hockey. And I was talking to John on email, and we were trying to find out, what might be the next season. So he asked us some suggestions. So I said, okay, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And so we're going to see. I had heard, he had told somebody else that he wasn't going to do any more seasons for shootout. And I'm like, oh, what a bummer, It's like, well, show me how to do it. Yeah, I'll do the shootout seasons if I know how to do them. I'll try to, do them the best I can and get those old seasons caught up. But I put out 90-91, and he's looking into some other ones, so that should be kind of good. Like I said, I was going to play some Appa hockey tonight. I need to get Gretzky on the table. That's one guy I never put on the table too much. I don't know why. I just didn't, I hate to say it. I wasn't a 99 guy. I just wasn't. I know he was the best ever and he's got all the points in the whole bit. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just kind of sick of it, And Brian says, no hockey, but the other day in a History Maker baseball game, I rolled to a super rare play that says ball bounced off head and over the fence for a home run. He was laughing for 10 minutes. See, that's the great thing about that. As David C comes by. Hey, David. That's the great thing about the rare plays. And oh, by the way, now that my work schedule settled down, like I say, I don't want to book anything yet, just in case I get asked to do some playoff games. But towards the end of March and April, we are going to be really hitting the guests really hard. We got not one, but two football games. We're going to be having the developers on here, and I think we're going to have them play the game with us too. So not only we're going to talk to them about the game, but we're going to play the game so you can see how it's played. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I appreciate their patience for kind of waiting for this to happen here on the channel. And it's just been me been too busy with work to get it done, but. So now I know next year that if I do the same schedule, that January, February, March, we won't have many guests on because I'm just again 27 days in a row. Yeah, that kind of happens. But yes, we got two football on. We're gonna get Clay Dresslock on from Season Ticket. And we're going to be playing some Season Ticket with him. And he's been busy creating seasons for Season Ticket. I'm really excited about that. And we're talking about our Patreon members getting some kind of a season ticket bonus. Yep, I don't want to spill the beans too much here till I get final confirmation from him. But we're gonna be looking into some bonuses for our Patreon members. Yep, we're gonna be looking for that. Yeah, I better take some Advil tonight. You're absolutely right. My shoulders are killing me from moving a stick around. Oh, and the killer was tonight is that it's just a pickup game, and they didn't have enough guys, and so we play 4-on-4 with roller hockey, and we had 9 guys. So the other team had 4 skaters and they couldn't make any line changes. We had 5, so we had 1 line change. So me and this other guy, we're both 57 years old, and we're just changing up every minute or so. And we just let the young kids skate the whole time. But it just turned into a slow game because it wasn't. You like to have a couple of spares each side so you can keep changing up and keep it fresh. And because once you're out there and you're tired and you can't move, you just stand there and the game kind of fizzles out. And that's kind of what it did tonight. But so I knew I'd be out there a long time, and so I just kept taking a lot of breaks. But it still, I played too much for being away so long. But my arms are hurting. And ID says that was Pittsburgh over Minnesota. Yeah, so we're gonna have to do that there, Pittsburgh, Minnesota. So Pittsburgh, is a B at home. Wow, Boston's a C at home. Not many good teams here. Minnesota's a D at home. F on the road. Oh, with the possibility of a G on the road. Man, how did they ever make it to the finals with John Casey and Brian Hayward? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm going to have to cut these up and get those on the channel at some point. And Mike says he plays in those games. It's a kill. It is. That's the thing about when you're playing hockey. It's like, you go, and you need to stop and change up and catch your breath and just rest up for a second. And when you can't, you just kind of hunched over your stick and just it makes for a tough game. Minnesota made it on an 8 seed. Yeah, they came in and they got hot at the right time. They really did. And I watched a really good documentary on YouTube. I think it was last month. It was one of those nights, like many nights, I would come home from the rink just exhausted, and I just kicked my feet up because I was too tired to play anything. And somehow I saw it was a 3 or 4 part thing on YouTube, and each video was probably 2 hours long. So this thing was 7 or 8 or 9 hours long. I watched about the entire history of the Minnesota North Stars, starting from when they come into the league all the way up through when they left. And it was really fascinating to see, how the ups and downs of the teams. It was mostly downs, and then how they wanted to get the owner out of there because he was just wrecking the team, and the fans were up in arms about that. But I learned a lot about like what was going on with Minnesota and how they just caught fire that year. And then next thing you know, they're packing the buildings and they're winning playoff games. And it was just, it was a really interesting documentary that I saw about the North Stars. It was kind of fun. What was I going to say here? I was going to say something here and I forgot what it was. Oh, I don't know if ID's still watching. I was watching a new channel on YouTube, and I need to go and call it up and share it with you guys. He posted on Facebook. Okay. And let me see. I don't know if I can share this with you at all. So let me stop this extra camera. Let me see if I can share something with you. So can I share this right here? Okay. So this is the channel I was watching, okay? His name is Appa 66er, so APBA 66ER. Go check out his channel. He's playing some Appa football. And the way he's playing it and the way he's doing it, it looks so fun and so easy. I'm really thinking about picking up Appa football. And I know ID's rolling over right now and he's probably slamming the desk. And because he's not a fan of Apple football. And I agree with a lot of what you say about it. But after watching this guy play, he really looks like it looks like he just made it. He made the Appa football look so fun and easy to play. And I don't know if it's his homebrew rules or if it's just how he's doing it, or maybe the basic game is that easy, but he's just like rolling. He's like, here's a result, roll, here's a result. And it's like, wow, this ain't too bad. Again, my concern is, there's not a ton of seasons I would want, although I think there's some back in stock. Because I remember when I looked at the Apple website for the football, everything I wanted was out of stock. So I don't know if they put some stuff back in stock or not. That's what I don't know. But there was probably 6 or 7 seasons that I would play, which is, that's okay. That's enough. I mean, I don't need 100 seasons, not at that price. But there was back when I was looking at it, there was like 1 season in stock. Everything was out of stock. But now I think they got some things back in stock. I think. But when I went there, I was like, oh, okay. 76, 78, and 81 are all in stock. Those are 3 seasons I would absolutely play. And so I might pick it up and give it a try at some point. Now, again, I get 2 football games coming up that I got to learn before that. So this will be in the spring, I think. And I don't have to worry about missing a sale. So I can pick it up at any time, And Fenner says he still wants Glory Days Pro. Yeah, that's one of the games we're going to be talking about here on the channel. So I don't want to get involved in any other football games right now. Does it say the? No, it doesn't. I don't want to get in any other football games like Appa right now because I have 2 football games coming up here on the channel that I want to kind of focus on. But and then I was like, well, I want to see because Replay Gamer was playing Apple football, and Andy plays second season. So I'm like, well, which one did you like? What are the difference between the 2? Again, part of me likes second season because you just have the chart, and that's the same thing with about Solitaire Pro Football. Is a team chart, and so you don't have cards everywhere. But the thing is I like the Appa system. I do. I like Appa baseball, and I like Appa hockey. The golf is. I like the golf because you're rolling in on the charts and you're seeing what's happening there. It's just really difficult, and I thought I would like it more than I did, and maybe I'll go back to it and enjoy it. But I just found that it was really busy, and I knew it would take a while to learn it. And it's like, I'll go back to it at some point. But I thought, if I like Appa baseball and hockey, if I'm looking at charts and I'm getting good at charts, I think that might be kind of fun to do. But I asked Replay Gamer, I says, what do you think? What do you think between second season and Appa football? He says he likes them both, so I'm interested. And ID says that Minnesota was 27, 39, and 14, and they went to the finals. They just rode the wave. Yeah, they did. And Jeff comes by. Better late than never. Yeah, we were just kind of chatting. I just got home from the rink, and I just spent about an hour working on my Appa hockey supplement guide, we'll call it, that I'm making free for everybody. It's still in beta because it's not done. It might never get done, but I'm kind of chipping away at it where I explain the rules, I think, a little bit better. And I try to clarify some things that I thought were explained not so good. And then I offer some alternatives to make the game faster and easier, I think. Some are my ideas and some are other people's ideas, and I kind of explain which ones are which. So I'm not taking credit for all this extra stuff in there, but I thought I would do that. I always wanted to rewrite that rule book, and I did a little bit. I kind of put what's on there, what's going on. So I thought it might help some people. And then I'm working on the rare plays as well. So I've been busy with that. Over here in the chat room, did I see Phoenix Knight played another Apple hockey game? Yes, I did. I was watching that. And I was watching him play some baseball too. All right, Frank. Let's see. Frank says, any thoughts on my question above? Where is your question above, Frank? The only thing I have from you is, how am I doing tonight? If that's the question, I'm very sore. I am very sore. I played hockey tonight. I haven't played hockey since back in January, and I only played 1 game in January just because I've been working. And so skating around out there to pick up game with not many people, and just you're playing I played an hour and a half, like I say, on and off for an hour and a half. And then I'm like, I'm going home. They were all playing for 2 hours. It's like, good. You young guys can play. Me and the other guy were just sitting there watching. And like, I'm going to go home and work on my Appa rule book. So I don't know if that's a question, but yeah, I'm kind of sore. Have I played Everyday Player Hockey? You have it on PDF and have looked at it. I have it here. I'm looking at the folder right now. That was one of the first games I got. And I tried it, and it works okay if you're using the fast action cards. I think was what it was. When you're rolling dice and stuff, that game really slogs down. I know ID plays it. He did a video on it, and I was watching that. That was a long time ago that he did that. The only problem with the everyday player games, for me anyway, is they're late 60s, early 70s. Even the football and the baseball, it's just a tad before I really come into sports. Okay, because you know me, I'm a 74 to 84 or 74 to 90 guy. So anything before 74 is really kind of gray area for me. Now, I know I love my 69, 70, and 70, 71 hockey season, which they do have. But that's kind of where they are, and it's kind of where they stay. My issue with everyday hockey was, and again, I need to give that a second chance because that was so long ago. That was before I really knew how to play some of these games. Was it just didn't look like you could ever score a goal? It just you had to roll. I think you rolled 3 dice, and if you weren't rolling fives and sixes, then you had no shot at a goal. And I know you're not supposed to score on every shot, but it's like, man, what are the chances I'm going to be rolling fives and sixes and get that in range for a goal tonight? I just don't see how you'd ever score a goal. Now obviously you do, because if you never scored a goal, nobody would play the game. But for me, I just when I first played that, I'm like, man, how am I ever going to score a goal in this game? Because but you do, I guess. So I need to go back and give that another chance. But that was my issue, was that it was really late 60s, early 70s, a little bit before my time, and I just didn't think you could ever score a goal in the game. And let's see here. My name is Mud, Franchise Hockey Manager 10, which is a fun game. I need to go back and play some more of that. I still have Bobby Orr sitting there on the Philadelphia Blazers with Sanderson and McKenzie waiting for the next game to be played. And I did that too in Action PC Hockey. I did that as well. I put Bobby Orr on that, and that's more of a graphical game. Oh, so I just had my orange vanilla. So that's what I'm having tonight. And then this new one here is kind of neat. It's blackberry mango is the other Polar Express, Polar Seltzer. That's what it's called. I think they're right in Worcester here, this company. Mo says, Appa, football is my favorite football game. Can play in so many ways, from easy to more in depth. Can even use every player card if needed. So that position counts. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to check that out. I will check that out. ID said he said he will watch. He might change his mind, but it'll take a lot to change his mind. Well, again, I'm all about second chances. Even PJet, okay, who's going to probably tune in late here. PJet is giving Apple Hockey a second try. Imagine that. After those three video rants on Apple Hockey, he's giving another try. And I give him credit for that. And maybe he likes it, maybe he doesn't a second time around. You never know. But I found that I played a lot of games, and I just, I ran through games. My issue was that I was new to all this, and I'm kidding a candy store, so I'm trying all these different games. And if it didn't click right away, this game stinks. And this game stinks. And then one game, oh, this game's good. So now that I'm going back and I'm being more patient with some of these games, like the Hockey Bones and Hockey Blast and things like that, that I'm finding that, no, I'm actually enjoying these games now that I've sat down and take the time to really kind of give them a fair shake, and I'm trying to work with them. So PJ, I'm glad he's given Appa another chance. Excuse me. I hope he wants to check out my rule book. I'll probably send it to him, have him take a look at it, and then even my rare plays, because I really want to work those rare plays into Apple Hockey just to kind of add some spice and flair into the game. And, it doesn't have to be anything completely crazy, but sometimes I just want some things to happen in a hockey game that aren't in the games right now. And if we could get 2 or 3 rare plays a game in Appa, and then sprinkle in some fun things, again, it doesn't have to necessarily be anything crazy, but just sprinkle in some fun things. Defensemen collide into each other, leaving the guy with the puck a breakaway. That happened the other day in junior hockey. The defenseman, wham, and the guy with the puck's like, okay, he had a breakaway. That only happened, once in the playoff series. But I mean, if that's a rare play. I get the breakaway because the defenseman collide. That can happen. A block shot leads to the next block shot leads to a breakaway. You block a shot, you get a breakaway. Things like that happen. Goalie tries to clear the puck up the boards. Roll the dice. Did he get it out the zone for a break? Or the guy stop it and get a chance for a goal? I mean, things like that, things that happen in hockey games. I want to get into Appa hockey. Let me see here. Oh, Texas Ag says, yeah, again, if you're not on the Facebook there, I think you are on Facebook, by the way. I think. I know we've emailed. I can email it to you. Just remind me, and I'll email it to you. So again, I put out version 4 tonight just to see how it would go. Okay, so Frank, yeah, your question above Texas Ag. I'm still not seeing it, Frank. I don't know if it posted or not. I went back to the top, Frank. Post your question again because I'm just not seeing it. Unless YouTube blocked it out for some reason, but I'm just not seeing it. Yeah. So again, if you want that, Ags, send me a message or something like that, and I'll send that to you because I know you play the game, so I want people to play the game to take a look at it and see what they think about it. Is it helping you? Play the game? Is it making it funner? Whatever. If it's not, then that's fine. You don't need it. But I mean, I just thought I always wanted to clarify that game because so many people have asked about it. Jeff says he got a Strat football for his 16th birthday and had the 87 season. Very similar to Appa. Good game, but more fun head to head. Well, that's the thing that we talked about. Me and Ron talked about was the football games that, some of them are just better head to head. When I saw ID and Tebow playing Appa football, it's like, okay, I'm going to run this play. Here's my defense. So it's like, oh, let's see if we got it right. But I think that's the best way to play it. But I think there's a solitaire mode because the Appa 66er, and again, go subscribe to his channel. It's really he's just playing some great stuff, and he's just got a single. It's probably his cell phone up there, but he's trying, and I think he's doing a pretty good job for his first few videos. He's for what he's doing, it looks pretty easy. Now I did notice too when I went to the Appa site and I was at watching one of Tebow's videos, there are these cards, defensive cards, and I guess you look at the offense number almost like the ODAI for hockey. So you add up the offense number and then the defense number, and that gives you a number. So it's like if this is 15 and this is 20, the defense is +5. So there's a +5 card, and then you roll on that to get what the defense is playing. And I guess that's where you look on the chart. That would make the game tremendously easier. If I could just, okay, I'm calling all the offense. Okay, I'm going to hand this off to Sam Bam Cunningham. What's the defense playing? Roll the dice. Defense is playing this. That's what I go to look for on the chart and get my results. That's what I would want out of a football game. Something like that. That's what I would want. And Dean says he plays Strat football. Is also a great game. Mike wants to know who my favorite player in the NHL is, like today or all time. That's a big difference if it's today or all time. Should have been called everyday player soccer. Yeah, I guess I haven't played. I need to go back and play it again. Maybe if I played it again, I'd have a blast with it. I really would. Kevin comes by. Hi, Kevin. Good to see you here. PJ playing Apple hockey, and I'll have to watch it. You like to listen to him about hockey. And yeah, he knows his stuff. He does. It's fun watching PJ. And ID's second chance is good. Giving a game several tries is important because things change. Even you change, and some things you don't like now might change. But that's the thing is like there's so many times I've tried to play a game like a newer game, and I would try to rush it. I'm like, okay, I need to play this game, so I'm going to pull out the rules. I'm going to try to figure it, and I'm rushing and I'm rushing and I'm rushing, and I'm just like, this ain't making sense. I got a problem. The hell with it, and it's not fair to the game because I was trying to rush it and figure it out. And that's kind of how Hockey Bones was. It's just like, man, I'm looking at the rule book. It's just too big. It's confusing. Can't figure it out. Then when I finally sat down and said, look, I'm going to give myself the entire night to read the rule book, and I had all the distractions off, and I just read the rule book, and I went, you got to be kidding me. This is not nearly as bad as I thought it was. And then I actually played it. I was like, this is fun. So I gave it a second chance. Hockey Blast too. I went back to Hockey Blast, and this time it made sense. I got the momentum. I enjoy the fights in the little fight mini game. I didn't like it the last time. I wouldn't even have fights in my game. I don't know why. That's just where I was at the time. Now I can go play a Hockey Blast and absolutely love it. So I like that I've kept these games around payoff pitch. Like, wait, are we talking about payoff? Well, I talk about payoff pitch. I went to a phase where I didn't like payoff pitch, and I figured out why is because I had two sets of rules and fast action cards, and I was kind of just all over the place, and I didn't know what was a this and what was a that, and what happens on base hits, and it was frustrating me to a point where I didn't play off pitch for a while because I didn't know what the heck was going on. And finally one night I sat down and said, okay, here's the old rules, here's the new rules, and here's the fast action cards. What am I going to do? What's my procedure going to be? And I figured it out, and I have my procedures down now, and I use mostly the newer rules and with a little bit of fast action cards sprinkled in, and that game is smooth as silk now. But I had to go back and give it a shot. And I was confusing myself because I had old rules and new rules. And not that they were different, it's not what I mean, but there was different ways of kind of doing things. And it was just confusing the heck out of me. It's like, well, am I rolling this? This is what it says over here, but I can also do this and this. Oh man. But now I have my procedure. I said, this is what I'm going to do. And there's a couple of optional things in payoff pitch. And I says, I like this way. I'm going to do it this way. Some people just flip the fast action card and they're done with it. I use that from time to time, but it does speed some things up. The only thing that disappointed me is that the fast action cards, I don't think they do everything. You still need a couple of charts and a couple of other things, I think. And that was one of my frustrations. I thought I just use fast action cards for everything, and it kind of doesn't. There's still some other things that you need to make that happen. But it does a lot. There's a lot of info on there, and it does speed up the game for me now. When I use them for defense and errors and things like that, beautiful. And let's see. Okay, so Frank was talking about there's a new arena in Cincinnati. Do you think we get an NHL team? Boy, I tell you. I'm not sure. I think I saw somewhere they were building that, talking about that arena in Cincinnati. Um, I don't know if Ohio could handle two NHL teams. I don't know how Columbus is doing. That's the thing. Is Columbus doing well? They've been around for a while. If Columbus is doing well, maybe, but I mean, Ohio's not. I know they get two football teams, but football is different than hockey. You know, I don't know. That's the thing, Frank. I don't know just because if they didn't have Columbus, I would say probably. But now that they have Columbus, I don't know how far apart they are. But there's probably rules too about that because you can't just drop franchises in any way you want because now you couldn't drop a franchise, let's say in, I'm trying to think where I could put one now. So Seattle just got one. You probably couldn't put one in, you know, the second biggest city in Washington. Okay. They're too close. You would infringe on Seattle with that, and that would cut into their fan base and it would divide, and one of those teams might not survive. So it depends how close it is to Columbus. It depends how good Columbus is. If Columbus is failing in Ohio, then you're not going to want two, that's for sure. So that's kind of my thought on that. It'd be kind of cool. I don't have a problem with Cincinnati if they were to put a team there. I wish they would take some of the Florida teams out, the Nashvilles and Arizona and things like that. Anything south of the Mason-Dixon line, it's kind of hard to root for hockey. Sorry, I'm old school. Let me see. All right, so something didn't post. Again, it's not me. I just didn't see it. I'm here in StreamYard, so if it didn't post, it could be sitting in the area for approval, but I can't see it. And Doug, 49 football by Grant Fine is a real good game to try. Yeah, Grant is doing that and a hockey game, so we'll be talking to Grant. Grant's on the list to talk to, and I've been talking to kind of Grant off on the side there. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to him. I really am because I like these guys that are creating these games. So I'm really, really excited to talk to Anthony and to Grant. All right, let's go back to the chat here. Is it supplement version 4? Yeah, it's supplement version 4. Yeah, so it's again, I'm still marking it as beta so people don't think it's done. And I'm trying to put the version number on it now, because as I add to it, it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Just trying to get like the page numbers to line up, and every time I move things around, and I got to change the table of content, so it's kind of a pain. But I think it's coming out pretty good. I'm hoping at some point, we'll get a few more eyes looking at that, and I can kind of wrap it up. You wish all games were as easy to learn as season ticket baseball. You have that game about 90% down. Well, here's the thing with season ticket baseball. It's season ticket baseball. It's got like a basic mode, and then it's got ridiculously advanced mode. And for me, I kind of pulled out the stuff that I want to use, that I enjoy, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't pull out and use, because I don't need this to be a ridiculously complicated game. So with season ticket, I started with the basic. I sprinkled in a few things, but there's so many things I forget. Like when you roll the dice on steals and throws, I mean, some of the rolls you can overthrow, and that's what makes it fun. But you have to remember all that. So sometimes when there's some things I don't use because I just don't remember to put them in the game. So it's easy to learn, but there's a lot to it. It's still kind of an advanced game if you go beyond the basic version of the game. It's not hard. There's just a lot to it and a lot to remember. But I do like season ticket. And ID, yeah, I saw ID was playing data-driven football today. Yeah, I saw you were playing that. Okay, so Mike wants to know my all-time favorite players. All right. Well, as far as skaters, Bobby Orr is my absolute favorite. Okay. My second favorite would probably be Rick Middleton. I love just how he played. But you got to go with Orr. He just, Boston guy, he just was everything out here. He was. Rick Middleton would be my second favorite. As far as goalies, without a doubt, I was going to pull out my mug, but I'm too tired to get up. Tony Esposito, absolute favorite goaltender of all time. I don't think he's the best of all time, but I think he's up there, and he's just my favorite. I think it was because he's playing lefty, and catching with his right hand. That was kind of different back in the day. He played for Chicago, original 6 team. He was Phil Esposito's brother. There was just so many things about Tony Esposito that was just awesome about Tony Esposito. He really was. So he's probably my favorite goalie. Again, if I was starting a team, it would be different than my favorites. If you said, hey, put together the best team you could, and we'll play another guy's best team. Well, yeah, no, I'm not, I'm not starting Tony Esposito in net, and I'm not starting some of these other guys. You have to go with the Gretzky's and things like that. But yeah, for all times, I would say Orr and Middleton, both Bruins, and then Esposito and net. If you would ask me, well, I was going to say my favorite non-Bruin, but he did end up playing for the Bruins. So I guess probably, I don't know if he would be third on my list, but he'd be definitely in the top 10 would be Brad Park. Loved Brad Park. I loved him in the Rangers, and I loved him with the Bruins. So Brad Park's up there too. Keith stops by. Keith says it took me 3 times for Hockey Bones, and it finally clicked. Yep. Hockey Bones is just one of those things that it's like a big dragon, but when you sit down and talk to the dragon, he's a pretty cool guy. But you don't want to go talk to the dragon because you think you're gonna have to fight the dragon. But yeah, Hockey Bones is just, and the great thing about Hockey Bones, everything's right there on the card. There's one chart and everything's right there on the card. And the chart is really just kind of there as a guide. But like I say, somebody brought up is that, when everything's right there on the card, it is kind of limited to what the game can do. But that's the beauty of Hockey Bones, is that it's so simple to play and everything's kind of right there. And, I do the math in my head so quick with that game. It's just so easy that I don't mind it, Whereas Appa needed some help. Appa got the help, and now Appa's good too. And I like them both. I do. Sometimes I pull up Bones because it's a little bit easier because there's no charts, and then Appa there's a little bit more charts to set up. But I think a few more things happen in Appa, especially with all the different charts that they have. That makes it kind of fun. But they're both solid games. See, Doug says data-driven football is good, a lot like old Pager. I think they're pretty close to the same. Yep. Ag says he's scared of Hockey Bones. That's his next game. No, you shouldn't be. You really shouldn't be. It's I I never played it. My thing was I read the rule book and I just kind of gave up when I saw how many pages there were because I get intimidated with that stuff. And again, sometimes I don't have the time, so it's like, well, if there's 2 pages of rules, I'll give it a try. If there's 22 pages of rules, sorry, I got things to do. But that one's fairly easy. I've done some slow play with a hockey bone, so go check that out. At some point, maybe me and you could play here some night and we could run through some questions if you want. Not that I'm an expert at it, but I mean, some of the basic stuff we could get through. Peter Miller did a good job. Hockey and Real did a good job. Yeah. Now that I've played those games, the funny thing about Hockey Bones, when Hockey and Real was doing all those videos and I was giving them all the crap about how difficult the game was, when I finally learned how to play the game and I went back and watched his videos, they all made much more sense. Really, it's kind of like learning a language. You learn a language and you go back and you watch somebody else talking. Like, oh, it all makes sense now. Before it was just all like blah 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 blah. Now it makes sense. So once I learned how to play Hockey Bones, all the Hockey Bones videos now made much more sense. So yeah, don't be scared of Hockey Bones. Brian, not sure if it'd be a rare play, but something like coach pulls a goalie or player doesn't start the goalie next period after verbal altercation. Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So yeah, so you have some like when they benched Cam Neely up in Quebec that one time, Cam Neely and they benched somebody else. I forget who it was, but yeah, the coach was not happy. Oh, that's interesting. You know something? I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down right now. I like that as a rare play because that's something that's rare, and but it could happen. So coach and player fight, and that'll remind me to put that on the list. But yeah, I could add that one, and that's a good one. Yeah, I did. That's one I didn't think of. You know. Let's see. Back to the chat room here. Oh, Kevin, take out Nashville. Ouch. We love our Preds. I know you do, but as a you know a guy up here in the Northeast, in the Boston area that watched the original six and the expansion over the years. It just when they went out west, it was fine, but when they went south, I just don't get into the Florida teams or the Arizonas. I did like the Atlanta teams. I don't know why. I did like the Flames, and part of me kind of liked the Thrashers a little bit too. I hated the name. I didn't like the blue jersey with the one sleeve. I thought that was kind of dumb. But I didn't mind Atlanta. I did like the Flames. Maybe it was just their logo in the jersey was so cool, and some of the guys in the team I did kind of like. But yeah, I never get into Nashville. I never get into Tampa Bay or Florida. Just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Okay. I mean, if you have teams on there and you're happy, that's good for you. I'm happy. I think there should be teams everywhere. But for me, like I know I'm wearing a California Seals hat. What am I gonna do? Do I have any Cincinnati Stingers gear? The only thing I would have is a pennant, and I don't know if I do or not. I thought I had a Stinger pennant, because I got some WHA stuff. I can see I get two up there now. I got Cleveland and Chicago up there to WHA. Uh, but that would be the only Stinger things I would have would be a pennant. Fenner says my next hockey game will be Hockey Blast in either Appa or Inside the Crease. Next game before those is History Maker Golf. I like History Maker Golf. I think History Maker Golf is play's easiest game to learn. I do. I love the golf game. I think it's just really kind of fun. And if you get the chance to play a full tournament, it takes me 4 to 5 hours to play a full tournament, play golf. But I did that when I was unemployed over COVID. And I would start at supper time, and I wouldn't finish till after midnight. And it was so good watching the foursomes or the threesomes, whatever it is, come down. You know, you watch them go from hole 1 to hole 18, and some people are in the clubhouse, and then you got the leaders in the back, and you kind of following along, and you're rolling dice, and you're going. You're not going shot by shot, but you're going hole by hole, and you're getting an idea what's happening. Again, you're not just rolling and getting the result. Sometimes you do. It's not like a quick play game, but other times, you're checking different shots, and you got to roll a couple times, and then you got to putt. But watching that, it was just like watching it on TV. that History Maker golf, it's like watching it on TV. It really is when you do those tournaments, and it's just kind of fun. Al, Red Sox fan, he does the elimination, which is kind of neat too. Whereas he just has like 4 or 5 guys playing, and if you're the lowest guy, you're out. And then they go to the next hole, and the lowest guy's out. Sometimes he'll go 2 holes, and that's it. One guy will birdie, and everyone else pars, and that's it. His tournament's over. Or at least that round's over. But yeah, no. Again, if you have any questions with Hockey Blast or Appa, in the crease, I'm not that good with. I have that on the computer. I really like it on the computer, by the way. And I've always said that if Inside the Crease would simulate other games, like Strat Baseball does, like Stone Cold Hockey does, that would be my go-to game. I love Inside the Crease on the computer, not so much on the tabletop, but on the computer. I love it on the computer. That's one of those games that, for some reason, just works better on the computer for me. But if I could play a game and then simulate the rest, and it would keep all the stats. I mean, the stat package is great. I like how they're laid out, the box scores, and the whole bit. It's awesome. But I'm not going to play every single game in a season for every team. It's not going to happen. So I just play one-offs of that. But if they would simulate them, and it wouldn't be that hard just to kind of simulate all the dice rolls like they do in other games. But I don't think that'll ever happen. But that would be my go-to game. It really would. Ron comes by. Hi, Ron. Good to see you here in the chat room here. I was just kind of jumping on. Like I said, I played hockey tonight, and I was working on my Appa rule book, my Appa hockey rule book, and now I was gonna try to get to some of the rare plays tonight, but that's not gonna happen here. I'm pretty tired. So that'll be. I'm hoping to get it done this week. It's just a lot of organization and writing it out to make it sound good and make it look good in the whole bit. It's a lot more to these things than you think. Do you think Indianapolis could have a hockey team? Is it too much for basketball, football time? Yeah, yeah. They had the Indianapolis Racers. That was Wayne Gretzky's first team, and then they had an IHL team there, and then I think they also had an AHL team at one point, and I forget what it was Indian. Oh man, it's not Racers, but I thought there was an Indianapolis team in the IHL back in the day. But yeah, I don't think that would be a very good choice for NHL hockey. Maybe minor league hockey, but maybe not that. All right, so good. So Mike says I named his top 2 guys, Orr and Park. Yeah, I mean, come on, how can you not like those guys? Those guys are great. They really. Park was so underrated. I thought he carried the Rangers team on the defense for many years. Then he came to Boston, and he still played well in Boston. He really did. It's still funny how many when I pull out my hockey bones, right, on my Apple hockey, and I go through the cards and I have some fun with it, or if I go to Hockey Reference and I look at the old seasons and the old teams, it's amazing how many Bruins and Rangers players we had. Because nowadays, you know, you're trading out west or down south. You're not trading with teams in your division. That just doesn't really happen nowadays very often. But I mean, I look at how many Rangers came to Boston and how many Bruins went to the Rangers. I mean, I think Gary Doak was a Ranger at one point. Ken Hodge, I think, played for the Rangers. Things like that. I mean, we had a bunch of Rangers come this way. I mean, Bertel, Park, a lot of guys like that come over here. So it's funny how many of those guys. I think Don Ari. I don't know if it was the Canadians or the Rangers Don Ari went to, but it's like, holy crap! Look at all these old Bruins that are going to the other teams. It was kind of nutty. But yeah, seeing Bruins and Rangers trade was weird because they were they're so local. Phil Esposito. I mean, if I almost forgot about him, right? And Charles comes by. Hi, Charles. And Tim, what does Tim get to say? He says, right about season ticket. A lot in there, but it's worth it. And it does the most realistic job creating outfield errors, unlike many games that have way too many outfielders dropping fly balls. Season ticket is so fun. I haven't played. I told Ron we got to stop playing it because I want to play the '95 Red Sox Indians season, playoffs. I should say, not season playoffs. I want to play that. And we're gonna get Clay on, and we're gonna play with him, and we're gonna talk to him about that. I kind of dropped a bug in Clay's ear about 1899 spiders. He says he's considering it. So we'll see if we get 1899 out of him. He's going pretty far back. He really is. Have I ever played Dynasty League Baseball? I'm really getting into it. Kevin, I have not. I've not played the Dynasty League Baseball. I've seen it, and I know that I think they got a. Is that the one that's got the computer version too? So I think it's the cards and dice in a computer version. So no, I haven't seen that one yet. I haven't played it yet. I thought about checking it out. Problem is, I got a ton of baseball games, and I got some that I really really like. Appa, Strat, Payoff Pitch, Season Ticket, and Pocket Pennant Run. I really like them, and so I got plenty of baseball to play, and I do like everyday. No, not everyday player. Back to basics baseball. That Downey game. I like that. That's really fun. And then I got the Status Pro and Digital Diamond. I haven't played that in a while, but that was okay. I didn't mind Status Pro. It was a nice little game. But Back to Basics from Downey was fun. I kind of like that. I did. Um, I haven't played Time Travel yet. I'm gonna have to try Time Travel. I have it. I bought it, and I should have bought the printed version because I got to print out all the cards, and I think they're front and back. And it's like, oh, I hate front and back printing. And I don't even know if I can figure that out. But at some point, I might get into that. But I haven't played so I haven't played the Dynasty League Baseball. But if you're enjoying it, that's all that's important. It really is. Oh, Noble says you had the Indianapolis Checkers in the AHL. Okay, yeah, I knew you had a team out there. Yep. Oh yeah, I think it was the Indianapolis Ice. I need to check that one. Indianapolis, Indianapolis Ice. Yeah, that's what it was. The Indianapolis Ice. Minor league professional team in Indianapolis, Indiana. They played in the International League from 88 to 1999 and in the Central League from 99 to 2004. Oh, okay. So yeah. So the Indianapolis Ice. I remembered that. Not bad. Not bad for an old guy. Bears Den. Just finished tearing apart 5 seasons of Stratomatic baseball. 53, boom. 55, boom. 56, boom. 69, giggity. And 84, boom. So glad it's done. Isn't that the truth, though? Isn't that the truth? When, whether you get Strat and you're ripping them out or you're getting Appa and you're putting them away or payoff pitch, which is I love payoff pitch. I do. I love payoff pitch. I love Joe. But it's almost like, yeah, they take all the teams. Okay, here we have all the teams. Oh, we just dropped them in a barrel. Let's shake it up a little bit and then send it to the customer. you have to go through and sort it out like you're working at a mail facility. I don't get their production because it comes in a brick all shrink wrapped and you're dealing cards. You're dealing cards with payoff pitch. And it's fun seeing the players and you get to see all the cards. You get to touch every card. But yeah, when you're done, you're happy it's done. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like you don't want to do that again. Not at least not with that season. So it's fun. It's part of the hobby. It's part of what we do, going through cards and again, ripping them apart or, sorting them out. But yeah, when you're done, boy, it is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you're done. It really is. 5 seasons of Strat. Holy cow. Oh, I haven't got 84. I'm thinking about getting 84 before it's out of stock. Although it's not a big season for me. I got a handful of Strat baseball seasons that are in my wheelhouse, and I'm kind of happy with them. I really am. I'm kind of happy with the seasons I got for Strat. Um, I like playing the basic Strat. I'm playing a little bit of advanced, and it's okay. Just I just kind of like the basic better because it was like a lot like Appa basic, nice and simple. Although you get more variety with the advanced, I don't know. Charles coming by and says, I just got done printing the PDF version of Stone Cold Hockey along with the 22, 23 teams. Can't wait to dig in. Yeah, that's fun. Do you have the, by chance, do you have the PC version too, or just do you have the cards and dice version? I have both. And, I like the cards and dice version a little bit better, but the other day, well, a few weeks ago, I think you guys saw me. I was playing the computer version. I was playing WHA, and it moves along pretty well. And then the computer simulates the other games, so that really made me kind of enjoy the computer version a little bit more than I thought I did. Because I'm always talking about how I like the cards and dice a little bit better. It's not too, completely different, but the cards and dice, I don't know, maybe that's the one I played first. I really liked it. And I know I helped out in the computer game quite a bit. Ron and myself did a lot of work. I really worked that the standings page, the stats page, and the box score and the things like that. That's where I put in my time was to make it look nice, make it look like a hockey game. And so even though I did all the work on it, the cards and dice version I thought I liked a lot better, but I only like it a little bit better because I went back and when I was playing the computer version, I was enjoying it immensely. I really was. And I like the fact how fast it plays. Like you could really play a couple of games back to back. It really was. Um, okay, so you just have the cards and dice. And, conspiracy theory. Where's my tinfoil hat? I don't trust computer random numbers. Where is my tinfoil hat when I need it? I don't know where it is. But I do hear people say that, and I wonder sometimes too when I'm playing something and I with like Strat Baseball, if I'm rolling the dice or and any game that you're rolling the dice on the computer, you got to wonder. But there's been so many people that have looked into it, and so many people that have done studies and stats. It's kind of on the up and up. It really is, even though it doesn't feel like it. But I will agree with you that I really like rolling my own dice. And Stone Cold, you can, by the way, Stone Cold PC, you can roll your own dice. The only thing you can't do, and I pushed for it and I didn't get it, was rolling for the scorer. That's the only thing that you can't do. You can roll dice throughout the game, but once it picks out the scorer, that's who's going to take the shot. So and that was one thing that Ron and I come up with was picking out the shooter before getting the shot on net because it's always fun to see who's shooting on the goalie. So instead of getting the goal, then looking at the shooter, you get the shooter first, and then you roll for the goal. We thought that was pretty good. But 22-23, you should have fun with that. You really should. And Randy says, it only takes me an hour to sort a payoff pitch. Only an hour. to sort out a payoff pitch season. I don't take the time to look at specific cards till I'm done. I kind of do it along the way. Like cause you got it in it's in alphabetical. So you're like, like Boston, Cleveland, Cincinnati, whatever, Detroit, Milwaukee. So you sort them that way. And every now and then I'll stop at a card like, oh, look at this guy. That's kind of neat, and then you're going along, oh, look at this guy. So that's kind of what I do. I don't stop at every card, but if there's somebody that jumps out of it, oh, Reggie Jackson's on Baltimore. I had no idea. Oh, Freddie Lynn's with, California. Oh, I forgot about that. Things like that. So I'll stop every now and then while I'm sorting them out. But it's funny how you said that only takes me an hour. Yeah, depending on the season too. If you get a newer season, with all those teams, oh my gosh, forget it. Yeah, I only have 70s and 80s. I'm still waiting for them to come out with 74 and 95. I'd like to see because I'd love to play some more 95 Red Sox. And I think I told the story. 95 was the season I enjoyed because I was playing on a hockey team in 95, and one of the guys was wicked into the Red Sox. And so we were playing over the summer, and we would, stop for a beer somewhere, and he would be all over the Sox. So he kind of got me watching the Sox a little bit in 95. So I know some of those guys. Not personally, but I mean, I followed, I didn't follow baseball for a long time until he was like, oh, let's go watch the game. So I would go, oh, Wakefield and, guys like that. It was kind of fun. I enjoyed that. Bears Den said the 84 cards a little bit better quality than the others have been, and they separate easier too. Yeah, they took a beat, and I got 76, and boy, those things were like a postage stamp. It was like flapping in the breeze. And so I think they did it to save money, and I think they said that we made too many people mad, and it's hurting our reputation. So we need to go back to the thicker card. So I think I remember seeing somewhere that they said, "Oh, by the way, we're back to the thicker cards." So they kind of went back to that after taking a verbal beating, you know. So I was happy to see that. I'm still kicking it around. I just I don't know if I would play it that much. And Mo says, I love everything PDF. Print out what I need when I need it, if I need it, and it's much cheaper. Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Is just print out the teams you need. That's what I did with season ticket. I bought a ton of season ticket seasons. I did. You know, when they had the sale to 20% off, forget it. You know, any season I thought I would play, I got. But I was doing what you did on that one. I didn't print out the whole season. I was just printing out some of the teams I needed for different things. Um, it does kind of stink because I want to play more 79 with season tickets. I got that 79 season I need to wrap up. But you know, I go to look at the schedule and I don't have the teams printed, so I can't do it, you know. So I have to play something else until I get to the playoffs. I printed out all the playoff teams, so season ticket will get back on the channel for that. Um, my only thing, Mo, is my what do I want to call this here? My personality, I guess, is what it is. My compulsion is I have to collect the whole set. It's just me, you know. It's just a bad thing. I have to collect the whole set. I can't just have a couple of teams. So I inevitably, I said it correctly, I will print out every team, every player, just because that's that's what this is. It's just part of me. Is if I have them all there, I want to have them there, and I don't want to sit out like I did with the '79 season. Like, okay, let me play the Cubs and the Phillies. Well, I only have the Phillies printed. I don't have the Cubs printed. Now I can't play the game. And I don't like that feeling. I like to know that I have everybody right there to play. So inevitably, I sit here and I print out everybody and I cut them all up. And I get so many teams printed and cut that I'll never play, but I have them, and that gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside, if that makes any sense. And that being said, a couple of the seasons for season ticket for PDF, I didn't print every team. I just printed out 3 or 4 teams that I thought I would do a project with. So maybe I've turned a corner. Maybe my obsessiveness to have every team printed out and every player printed out might be in somewhat control. I don't know, because usually I would sit here and hammer out every team and every player, and I couldn't stop. I was just That's just what it was. You know, it's like eating potato chips. You just can't have one potato chip. You got to eat the whole bag. You know. That's sorry, just kind of talking here. I know I'm tired now, and oh man. So where are we back here in the chat room now? Sorry if I was kind of rambling there. Charles says, it took me about 12 hours to sort and round the corners on the 22-23 hockey bone season. Again, PDF version. Yep. That one there, Charles, I got a friend of mine that works at a print shop, and I sent it over to him. I bought the PDF too, because I didn't want to spend all that money on the hockey drive-through hockey version. So I said to my friend, "So what can you do with this? You know, let me know." And so he did it and rounded the corners. And so it took you 12 hours. I would say that would be correct because there's a lot of teams and a lot of players. And rounding corners, which is what I did with payoff pitch, and I put the logos on too. I put all the logos. It took me a couple of weeks to do the 79 payoff pitch season, but it come out great. And I rounded all the corners too. But yeah, I would imagine that with all those cards, it would take forever to print and cut. Oh my god, it's when you get a stack of paper like this, you go, man, I got to cut all those, and your hands get tired from the cutting. Oh my gosh, yeah. And then rounding the corners to make them look good. Yeah, yeah. But so my buddy printed out that set there, and it come out a little cheaper than drive through. They were good. They weren't drive through quality, and they didn't have anything printed on the back. It was just kind of the fronts there. And I don't know if he did one set like that for me or two. I think he did I think he printed 2 sets for me that I bought PDF. I bought them, and sent them off, and I forget what years he did, but then there was another one I sent over, and they never got back to me with the price, so I take it they didn't wanna do it anymore. But it would have been good to go through him for some of the bigger seasons, you know? I saw that they just put 84, 85 up on drive-through, so I'm probably gonna get that, and, I think 60, 61. I think there was another season, I can't remember now, that they put up there now, and, I'm gonna probably grab that too. Let me see if I can find, what season that was. Yeah, so, yeah, yeah, oh, 84, 85. Yep, was up there. Um, so I'll probably have to grab that at some point. Hockey Bones, 1960, 61. Even a thing? No, they don't have 60, 61. I thought there was one they put up there that I was gonna grab. Yeah, I forget now. I thought they posted that on the Delphi forum about maybe it hasn't got there yet. That's what I'm kind of wondering. Maybe it hasn't got there. Because they were talking about another season on Hockey Bones, and I said I will definitely go pick up both of these once they're ready. Um, yeah. What? Oh, okay. 60, 61. So they are working on 60, 61. So I think once they're ready, I'm gonna grab those. So if they get 60, 61, oh, it is available. Oh, PDF. So it's not up. I don't think it's up there yet. Okay. I'm just kind of looking around and see if they have that available. Sorry about that. It's kind of off my own little world there for a second. All right, let's get back to the chat room here. Um, Bears Den. I tend to set up lineups and rotations too. That adds time to the time factor. Yeah, it does. Charles says all the cards and multiples of traded players. Yep. Oh yeah. What season would I got? Is it 93, 94? I got 93, 94 for Hockey Bones, and the there were some teams that only had like this many guys, and I'm like, oh, they didn't get me every card, because I only get 15 skaters here, and you need to have at least 20 or so on the team. So I said they didn't get me every card, so they somehow I didn't get every player. When I looked at the multiple teams, because what I do is I sort out all the teams, and then the guys that played on multiple teams that have the combo card, so to speak, that's their own stack. That thing was huge. That thing was huge of all the players that played on multiple teams. So when I looked through it, I found like 5 or 6 guys from the team that only had 15 skaters. I'm like, okay, here's where everybody is. They just had a rotating lineup of guys in and out. So okay, I don't feel so bad here. They all are. um, but that season there, so I imagine the more modern season, there's a lot of trades going on that your stack of guys is for the multiple teams is probably pretty good size. Yeah. And plus, what's it, 30 teams right now? Or was it 32 teams? I don't even know how many teams there are right now, but um, when I was in 19, let me see now. Okay, so in 93, 94, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they got 26 teams in 93, 94. And that was a lot of cards. It barely fit into my thing here. So I can imagine going to the modern season here, which how many teams are there now? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we got 32 teams now. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So all those extra teams and all those extra guys. Yeah. Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's a lot of work. Sometimes that's why I don't like to play the newer seasons. Way too many teams. So maybe I would get the PDF and just print out what I needed. But I had my friend uh, print it out for me. They come out okay. They were okay. Okay, so I don't feel so bad here. Let me get some of these comments up here. All right, so Mud says I don't have a printer, unfortunately, no PDF for me. Years ago, Mud, I bought a color laser jet because I had a color inkjet, and I use it for work and a few things. And when I started to get into this stuff here, and I was printing stuff, it's like I want to have some color prints, but I was, you know, going right through the ink. It just felt like it was drying up overnight. So I go to print and one color wouldn't print. So you got to clean the heads. And by the time you're done cleaning the heads and doing everything, you're out of ink. And you get these little tiny things. They're like 30, $40 and they last you like a half a day. And so I said, no, the heck with that. So I researched color laser printer and I found like the best rated one. And I think it was under $300. I think it was. And I went down to Staples and they had it. If you can believe it, my local Staples had it, and Amazon had it cheaper. And I pulled out my phone and went, Amazon's got it for $50 cheaper. And it says, well, then we're going to knock $50 off and it's yours. And I got that color laser, and I've had that for years, and that thing does a fantastic job. Again, it's this, printed out, all my shootout hockey stuff. I mean, this stuff, it come out really, really good. It does a fantastic job. And the cartridges are expensive, but they last a long time. I sat here one whole night just printing season ticket and whatever else, like all night long printing, and a stack of paper like that with all the players and all the teams, and just things just chugging along. I would have been out of ink on the inkjet, within an hour. So for me, I picked up that laser jet and I use it for everything. I use it for my stuff here. I use it for work. When you want to add a splash of color, it's there. It does a good job of printing on both sides. It prints 110-pound paper. So I love that thing. I really do, and I'm gonna really be bummed out the day that it kicks off on me. Where are we now? So okay, yeah. So I like I said, I have a printer for work. So even a black and white one would do. But it's fun adding the color in there. It really is. Refurbished color laser printer was one of the best investments I made for his PC. Oh, you got a refurbished one, even better. Oh, okay. So you don't have room. Yeah. Well, again, it does take up space. And Mud says you're a completionist. Myself, that's a completionist. Yeah, I am, and I sometimes I feel dirty for that because I have to have everything. But even when we were kids, I remember we had these little Star Wars action figures, Star Trek action figures. Yeah, we had Spock, and we had Kirk and McCoy and all those guys. The one we didn't have with the female on Star Trek, we didn't have her. And I was like, oh man, we need to get her. We need to get her. If we get her, we'll have the whole set. We'll have all 6 or 7 of them, right? And not that I was a huge Star Trek fan back in the day, but it was fine. And my brother's birthday came, and he got the girl action figure. It's like, oh, the whole set is complete. Finally, the whole set's complete. And it's just always been that way. It's just, I just can't sit here knowing that I have teams that are unprinted, just in case I want to play them. you know, so I am a completionist with that. I really am. And that's what my whole life's like that. Even when I do the stats for the league, it's like I can't just do one game. I got to do all the games. I want to get them all in. I want to get, I want to be I want to be done with it, and not leave things open ended because I do get. I don't know what the word is there. It's unsettling for me. So yeah. And Mo says the same thing too. I'm with you on collecting a whole set. I started early and have every strat baseball and football season. Had them all scanned to PDF and stored them away. Oh, that's a good idea, actually. That's what I should have done when some of my seasons come in, is to scan them and save them so I had them. You bought a coil binding machine for PDF rule books. Interesting. What I do with that is I just get on the Staples. And I did that with Al Wilson's Fast Drive Football. He prints them out and they look nice front and back, and them printed out, and I just get on a Staples and say bind it. And I think it was like $7. and they bind it with the coil, and they put a little front plastic cover on the front and on the back, and it's like perfect, perfect. It's all set, ready to go. So I'll do that once in a while. So get on there and just say, just do it for me. If I was doing a lot of them, then yeah, I'd get my own. Randy, what do you got going on here? How much does the quality and look of the cards matter to you? That's a topic for the show. That's a topic for the show, Randy. I like this one. I like cards that look and feel good and is part of the attraction of buying certain games. I think you're exactly right. Boy, I tell you. Um, I'm gonna make a note on that right now. Quality of cards for a show topic. I like that idea. I'll give a couple of 2 cents here for me. We'll have to put that out too. Um, Charles says he prints cards on heavy stock. Yeah, I do too. I get the 110. I could probably bump that up a little bit, but that's fine. Like for shootout here, this is a 110, and this is pretty good. It doesn't need to be much thicker than that. I mean, maybe a little bit more would be good. But I went to Staples one time and had them print out the really heavy stuff, like a 200, and they're thick. It's like, okay, this is a little too thick. Kev, thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by and talk about us. I'm going to be wrapping this up soon, by the way. I didn't think I'd be on this long, but I just want to come on and say hi. And here we are, just chatting away, having a good time on a Sunday night. All right, so getting back to Randy's question, how much does the quality and look at the cards matter to you? It matters a lot. It really does. For me, it's a big deal. When I got that 76 season from Strat and it was kind of flapping in the breeze, I was very disappointed. They're still very playable. I played a couple of games with them and they were fine. But when you get, the payoff pitch cards in your hand, and you're like, this is unbelievable. Even the Appa cards, I like the Appa cards. I think they're pretty good. They're nice and small. Everything's right there. It works for me. They look good. I feel good about that. The hockey bones I like from drive through. I bought a couple of seasons PDF, and I think I printed out the whole 1970 season when I first got hockey bones. And what did I do? I threw them away, and I ordered them through drive-through, and they're so much better. Because once I got my first order from drive-through, I was like, oh, Jeepers Creepers, this is what I got to do. Even if I need to wait a few months and save up, this is what I got to do because they're just so much better than what I can print. So I like the cards that look and feel good. Yes, yep, me too. I like how they feel in my hands. I like how I can move them on my table. I like to be able to see them and look at them. And that is the attraction of buying a certain game. I'm finished reading your comment here. Yeah. So I mean, if you have a good looking card and it feels good in your hand and everything's there, that's the way to go. Season Ticket, I think, has one of the best looking cards. It is my OCD loves the Season Ticket card. And why I like it is because it's blocky. Everything's in a spot. All the cards are kind of the same, and everything is labeled. You never have to wonder what this stray letter or number is. It's all there. And there's a lot of other games that just have numbers all over the cards, and sometimes you gotta look, okay, what is this number? What does this mean? Is this the steal? Is this the bunt? Is this the error rating? Is this his arm? Season Ticket labels everything. It's a OCD dream. The Season Ticket cards. I just love them. I do. I love the Season Ticket cards. I think, as far as the PDF goes, those are my favorite ones to print out and to play with. I haven't got the printed cards from Season Ticket, so I don't know how the printed version is. But for me, I think those are the best looking cards. Payoff pitch are the ones in my hand that I like, and the Appa I like too. And Hockey Bones is a distant second or third, but they're okay out of drive through. They're really good out of drive through. Sorry about that, getting late over here. And Mo says obsessiveness is not good for this hobby. I need the cure. I don't know what the cure is. More cowbell? I don't know. I don't know what the cure is, but yeah, um, it's just something that I've always that's just always been my thing. If I get into something and I like it, like if I found a couple of bands years ago and I had to go back and get all their albums. So they had 4 albums out. I got to get 4 albums. It's just how I did it. I didn't want to miss out on anything. And Charles says I had a print shot through the cuts, but still at the round the corners. Yep, and your forearms are still sore. Oh yeah, I would cramp up all the time. Like I'd be cutting that thing there, my hands would be cramped up at the end of the night from cutting so many cards. The cure is more seasons. Oh man, um, yeah, that is the cure. But I remember there was one night that I had the corner thing, and I think I don't know if I was doing bones or if I was doing payoff pitch, but I was upstairs and I had the corner thing going. The wife got up and was like, "It's midnight. How come I keep hearing this clankety clank?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry about that." Well, I was just doing my corners. I says, "I'll stop." And then my hands from hitting the corner thing, hundreds of times. Yeah, it hurts. I get it. I get it. Texas Ags. I used to buy PDFs, but after I paid for ink cardstock and my time, it's just a lot easier. Yep, it's about the same price wise, so the better qualities make sense. I think it all depends. I think there's well, I will agree with you on that. That sometimes I'll print out stuff, and again, by the time you pay for the ink and the cardstock and you cut it, and all your time's involved. Sometimes you're better off just ordering the printed set. I would kind of agree with that, but to a point though. I mean, because sometimes, like I say, like the season ticket, they're perfect on the 110 card stock that I have. And I'll print those out here, and I cut those out fairly simple because they're nice big cards. And I'll save a bunch of money with that for myself. So and the time thing, again, that depends on you. I mean, if it's going to take you 12 hours, you know, like they were talking about earlier, yeah, you might want to go just to drive through cards and order the season. Just if even if you paid yourself $10 an hour, that's $120. You might as well go get the season and have the cards all done professionally. So I think there's a little sliding scale there of what's going to work for you as far as the print and cut version versus the professional version. You pay more here, but at some point this does catch up, and I do agree with that. And then you got to factor in the time. So for me, it all depends on what. Like, for example, shootout hockey, there's only a handful of pages, so I'll just print those out myself. I won't even go up to Staples. I'll just print them out myself and undo them. But it depends. For me, it really depends on the job. It depends on the job as to whether I'm going to get them professionally done or do them myself. So I kind of go job by job with that. The payoff pitch is obviously they're so inexpensive. I mean, what are they, like 40 or $50 for a season? It just, how do you beat that? The top quality cards, you're not going to print that to your house. You're not going to save anything. They're $9 or $10 PDF for another 30. You get them all professionally done, and they're the best cards in the business. For $30, yeah, I'll do that. Um, Again, some of the hockey bone seasons, they can get kind of pricey and drive through, but if you're going to play it, you're going to want the better cards. You really are. You really are. But yeah, once you factor in ink and time and card stock, I mean, I've not done a cost analysis on that, so I really, really don't know, like I say, how much I save or don't save by the time I'm done. But I know there's been sometimes I've spent days working on seasons. It's like, oh my gosh, I should have just got it printed because, that amount of time I spent, again, if you factor in $5 or $10 an hour, it's like, oh man, it's just worth it to pay someone else to do it. But sometimes, again, if you're not printing them all out, if you just want to get a season and print out a couple of teams, yeah, you're going to save a ton of money. But me being the completionist, I gotta have every team because it's just kind of how I am. I don't know. Let's see. He says another season I went. Another reason I went to laser. Toner is so much cheaper than the ink. Yeah, again, I'll buy these big ones there, and they're expensive, but it'll last me for a long time. Rob coming by. Good to talk to you. How's my list of rare plays going? Well, Rob, I talked earlier about I just uploaded version 4 of the rules for Appa. So it's kind of again, it's still in beta, and I'm still kind of adding to it. So I uploaded version 4 of the rules and supplements and explanations that I'm doing for Apple hockey. So that's what I did tonight when I got home from playing hockey. And my rare plays, I'm still adding to it. I'm where I'm at now is that we're going to have one chart of common rare plays. And then if you roll, like I say, either a 66 or a 100, whatever that roll is going to be, that'll bump you to the second chart, which is going to be the really rare plays. The things that, that maybe happen once a season or once every 5 seasons. So you want to put the rare plays in there, but there's certain things that I want to happen more often than others. So we're going to do a 2-tier system. And I got some great feedback from the guys here. I even dug through the Appa Rare playbook and found some things in there that I liked. And I remember going through there once. I'm like, I don't like any of these, but I think I'd found some things. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to use some of those. So that's coming up pretty good. I'm hoping to have the first version of that this week. I'm really kind of hoping that I can get at least the beta version out so people can look at it, see what they think. Does it help the game? Does it hurt the game? Which ones do I keep? Which ones do I get rid of? Which ones do I fix? So that's coming along. And Mo says it also depends if you need every team. You might be better off buying the printed cards. But me, I get a season to use 2-3 teams at a set, and I like cross-era games. So, well, and you're right. It's like, what are you playing, and why are you playing? My 95 season ticket season, I only printed out 3 teams. I printed the Red Sox and the Indians because I'm going to play them, and then I printed Atlanta Braves because I want to have the Sox play the Indians, see how it would come out. Win or lose, I'm going to have the Sox play the Braves. Atlanta Braves, the Braves, the team that won. So I only printed out those 3 teams for 95, but that's my project for 95. There's some products that I like to play all the teams. I like to, I want to play the good teams. I want to play the bad teams. I want to play the medium teams. And so that's why I like to have every team, because sometimes I'll go and I'll play the odd game. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I play odd games. But some seasons like 95, I'm just going to kind of limit it to those teams right now. So again, depends what your project is. I like to have every team available for me. That's just what I like. It again, that makes me feel good inside. But on some seasons, I won't need that. And Charles says, yeah, the multi-team players was at least 5 or 6 teams worth of cards. Oh yeah, I can imagine that stack was pretty thick. Mailing cost a can to make PDFs to full. Yeah, well, that's something we talked about in the show. UPS a PDF, I think was the name of the show that we did, and we talked about just one thing that people here. I never consider the shipping cost on stuff because most of it's shipped right here in the States, and we're good to go. The best thing to do is find a friend right at the border. Right at the border of whatever you are. If it's well, Canada would have to be Canada. You don't have a border from England, but if you knew someone right at the border and you could just order all the stuff and just kind of reach over the border and hand them to you, that'd be the way to go. you know, but yeah, if you're in some other place that you got to fly the stuff out, it gets pretty expensive. So I'm glad that people offer PDFs. Although you still could bring it down to your local print shop there at Staples or FedEx or. I don't know if they still have a Kinko's or wherever, but I mean, they could probably print out some pretty good stuff for you. And Charles says, you just can't justify paying more than $100 a season. So he's a PDF guy, but it all depends. Again, by the time you're done printing out everything, are you going to save any money? But if you're just printing out a couple teams, and just that's the great thing about PDFs. You just print out what you need. That's the great thing about it. You're not going to get all these teams that you're never going to play. So I get that. Yep, that definitely makes more sense. And again, for me, it depends on the game and the season and the product I'm working on, what I'm going to do with it. And if we lived up there, we'd be thinking the same way. And generic toner, full refill for you know what I just tried. I usually just get the HP because I have an HP ink, and it's really expensive. And they had a bundle that I bought, and it was the black and the 3 colors, and the price was ridiculous. I forget what it was, but it was like half or a third of the name brand. I was like, well, for this price, I'll try it. And if I put it in and it stinks, well, then I'll never use it again. But if I put it in and it works, and the reviews were pretty good, and it said, yeah, this oddball ink will work pretty well, then perfect. And then I'll do that, and I'll save a bunch of money, because it is expensive filling the big tanks up. But I found a bundle that was a no-name brand that's supposed to work. So we'll find out once I start, replacing my tanks. Ag says his printer sucks. Mud says being in completionist had left me with a rather large CD collection. Yeah, see, as I told you, You know, They says, though I do stop buying new albums from artists once they disappoint me twice. I can see it. But I mean, if you find a new band or something like that, you're like, oh man, look at these guys. Like, no, I go into my iPod and like, because I have the iTunes music there, so I can just add it like that. It's like, oh, perfect. Here we go. Used to take it down to the print shop, but it kept screwing it up. And he said, fast drive football is the last straw. Yep, it was. I like a good looking game card, like the new History Maker Baseball. Yeah, those look nice. They really do. I've seen those. Drive through hockey bones are nice. Yep. Bears. Then Strat used to have really good cards. Some of his old cards before he still has some of his old cards, is what he's saying. Before they created Super Advanced. Which season ticket was a bit heavy, but they are good to me though. Payoff pitch replay, Appa hockey bones are the best. Yeah, I would agree. I don't have the replay, but I would agree with the other ones. History Maker is so frustrating. Way too little. I just don't understand. I had a hard time with that too. That's another one I need to go back and give a second chance. They are so small. Now, Hockey Blast works out nice for me because I lay them all out on the table and I can see them all. But when I'm playing the History Maker Baseball, I've only tried it a couple times. You got to check the quality of the guy's arm. Is he a gold arm or something like that? And you're fighting these little cards. It is kind of a pain in the neck. So I don't know if there's a way you could lay them all out and then you're good to go. I don't know how that would work. Um, and he didn't like to play games at first, but he's grown to accept them. Yeah, I was too. Some I liked right out of the gate. I will say that the golf game was fantastic right out of the gate. The racing game was fine. I just don't know enough about racing. And then the hockey blast, the hockey one. That's what I'm trying to get at. I had a hard time with that for the longest time, but now I like it. And yeah, we talk about a card that was bigger. Yeah, I would love to see History Maker Baseball cards be bigger. I really would. That would be kind of nice. Another plus of PDF was able to increase the size of the team cards for Stone Cold, so they had more legible reading for his eyes. Yep. The next live stream, can I talk about the shells, all the team envelopes behind you, and how I organize them? So over here is what you're talking about, and then over here. So these are the boxes. I bought some boxes. In those boxes, I have game-winning drive, fast action football, final score football, Roberto Schiavini games, shootout hockey, regular season basketball. So those are all the kind of like my PDF games over there. Is kind of what it is. So these boxes here, and then there's some more boxes here. Those are just kind of PDF stuff that I threw in the boxes and just kind of so I could get at them and make them look good. They were a little bit too big for my folders because I have a lot of things over here in folders. Like for example, this is my this is kind of like my hockey bones folder still. It's getting kind of thick now with rules and charts and cheat notes and stuff. So I would put stuff like that, like a game-winning drive. I have a ton of seasons, so I put them in a box. Over there's all my Appa stuff. So up there's all Appa hockey, all the way down to about here when it turns into baseball. So it's mostly hockey. But that's a like 3 or 4 or 5 year collection up there. That'll take me a while to do. So that's what that is. The envelopes. Those are all from Chris White. I think that's his name, Chris White on Facebook. He does all my envelopes for me for Appa. I think he does other things too, but he just does the Appa stuff. So I just say, hey, I just picked up 80-81 hockey. Make me some envelopes, and I just Venmo off whatever it is, And I think I did a video about the boxes for Hockey Bones. Yeah, and there you can't see those, but those are right behind the Cardinals. There, I can see a little bit now. See those little? It's dark over there, but that's what my Hockey Bones is. Sometimes I use the PDFs. Right? Yeah, that's the other thing about PDFs. You can put them right on the screen. So when I'm streaming a game, sometimes I bought all the PDFs of Stone Cold. That way, there I could clip them and put them on the screen, like in Excel or something like that. Yeah, they're great for streaming and just having them on the screen, nice and big. Yeah. Hockey Bones 93 8. Yeah, that was I did too. I did too. That was the most modern season I have aside from the one that my friend printed, and that was a big price. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that was tough. They are on the pricey side. They are. But you get every player, and the cards are unbelievable. They really are. And so, like I say, I ordered those there, and now I probably won't get a season for I get a 80. They have 84, 85. I think that was up around $100. So I'll wait for that. But again, I just went through 3 months of ridiculous amounts of work, so I should be getting some paychecks in from all that work that I'm going to reward myself with. So, but again, it's up to you to decide. I mean, are you gonna, when I looked at 93, 94, I says, oh, I have a ton of teams I want to play. There's a lot of teams I want to play. I want to play the Sharks. I want to play the Red Wings. I want to play the Stanley Cup. And so I think I will get my money's worth out of that season. You know, I think. And yeah, we're gonna head out, Charles. Thanks for coming by. Hey guys, thanks for so much. I just come on tonight just to kind of talk a little bit about the Appa rule book and the Appa rare plays. Again, my junior hockey teams that I've been broadcasting for, they've two of them have kind of wrapped up, or one of them's moving on. So um, I don't know how much more broadcasting I'll have. I know I got one game left. That might be it. And so we're going to be getting some guests back here on the YouTube or on the show. I got some football games. I got Clay coming on with season tickets, so I'll be able to catch up. We get two authors coming on, by the way. So we're gonna have a busy spring here. I just didn't want to book anybody until I absolutely knew the things were done, and I'm still not absolutely done. So I don't want to book anybody yet, but I can only imagine that late March and April and May, we're gonna have a good time with some guests on here and get all caught up. So I want to thank everybody for coming by tonight, and we have a nice little chat. Boy, we had just kind of a little off the cuff chat here tonight. It was kind of fun talking to everybody again. Again, I've been on the loop for weeks now, so just fun to come on. And I was just too dang tired to play some Appa tonight. I wanted to play Appa hockey so bad, but I want to get my rare plays done so I can use that in the game and try that out myself. So I've been kind of not playing and working on that instead. So I'll have my Appa rules ready and my rare play ready for more testing this week. So thanks everybody coming by. Yep, take it easy. Mo, thanks for coming by. Mike, thank you so much. And Rob, always enjoy having you around here as well. So, and yeah, so I'm gonna go get myself some sleep. The wife's feeling better, so that's good. Finally, she's been on 3 rounds of antibiotics, and finally she stopped coughing. So I was getting concerned, but she's doing better, so that makes me feel better. Makes the dogs feel better. Makes everybody feel better. So, all right, I will talk to everybody later. I'm gonna try to get those rare plays done, and then we'll start testing those and see how it goes. But I'm hoping to make Appa hockey even better with this rule book and the rare plays. So, I'm Dave. Thanks for tuning in, guys, here on this Sunday night here in early March, and we will talk to you all later. Bye bye.